Welcome guys, as usual, let's start the Zoom. I'm gonna start with the USD CAD. I draw here a potential divergence, but what we see that the price didn't move at all, actually. So what I would like to see is a turning point from this. As you see, we see different pictures, like on the dominating time frame on the weekly charts. We are below the zero line, and this is also in red. And what we see on the daily is two colors in the plus and one in a cell, actually. So what we're seeing on the charts right now is speaking against each other, so we can't confirm the information what we get on the A chart to the B chart, and it's the same thing when you're looking into the 50-minute on the or the 1-minute chart. So what I would like to see is something like a continuation, actually, because we saw here a divergence, right? But didn't move at all, but there's still place to move on the REMA. So what I would like to see is another move to the upside, actually. And after that, we can see another possibility for a divergence. But right now, I would say we should see a stronger dollar, actually. And next week is an interest rate decision with NFP, so it's gonna be a crazy week as well. I'm looking forward to it. Then we have the Audi NZD. The Audi NZD moving sideways, and here we have a nice momentum. As you see, the colors confirmed each other on the weekly basis, but we are still below the zero line. So this is something to look at it, but there is a low volume level, like in the wall structure. There is, we can say, no volume, not like here or in another section. All right. So what I would like to see right now, on the daily basis, we cross above, so we can actually see potential up move, but we are looking for only this point right now, which is actually 100 pips away, so could be something, but we are still in a sideways move, like what we saw in the past few months. Okay, and until this does not break in the either of the way, we're not gonna see another move. So it has to break first the structure before we can make a good conclusion. What's the next step of this? Okay. Euro CHF. The Euro CHF played out. Actually, as you remember, I had a drawing something like this, but the divergence didn't confirmed last week, so our Zoom was around this point, and I said there isn't divergence possibility until this point doesn't break. Did not. Tuesday we received the sell signal, and after that the divergence was confirmed. What we are looking into is actually right now the REMA is still in green. So I said it multiple times, when there is a big difference between the two moving averages in the REMA, then we don't expect a big move, more like a sideways move or a smaller move, most likely. In the biggest percentage, let's say that we can say that the price is moving slowly, and when it comes together with the right momentum, it goes more aggressively, actually. I'm gonna delete this, but right now this is in red, this is in red, and this is about to get in red. Wait for the confirmation. Here is also turned into red, but we have two signs in green, but we are below the zero line, which is a good sign, nice confirmation. And there is also a relative high volume level. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Then the Euro GBP. The Euro GBP played out well. Here is the possibility of the divergence, which I drawed. I think that was first zoom from here, something like that. And we saw a small move actually, but it just went down and everything is in red. So there is a divergence possibility here and the structural divergence. So it could reach the point where it was meant to be, as you see the previous points of the market. It can go a bit lower, in my opinion, and this could be this move, which will change the structure, actually. But even if it turns around, we need the confirmations of the momentum. We need the confirmations of the structural divergence. And when it happens, it can go to the upside if it happens, of course. If it's not happening, then just follow this momentum right there. Right, the DXY playing out. The divergence, what I was talking about weeks before, is just forming something, but we had already 4 candles and the price didn't made a move actually. From last week, I drawed this, and actually there happened something similar, but in the weak form. So not what I expected, but a bit. Let's say a bit, because it didn't close down. What I see right now is actually the momentum has to confirm. And if the coming weeks it does, it turns into green, and this is already in green, so that's a nice sign. I would like to expect something similar like here, a continuation. Maybe this could be good if the price doesn't move in the coming days, Monday and Tuesday, for example, because Wednesday we're gonna have the interest rate decisions, which is an interesting point always of the month. But what I'm looking for is a continuation right there and the move to the upside. All right. This is what I'm looking for on the DXY. The CXY, it was similar thing and divergence possibility, but as you see, there is a huge difference between the two. So every time you see that, you have to ask yourself what's happening on the charts. And this is the point when the two charts doesn't confirm each other. So actually what we see on weekly doesn't confirm what we see on the daily charts, and the most wise thing to do is actually wait for something concrete in the market, because without that we can make a conclusion or a solution, but it's more clear when they are moving together. For example, everything is in green and we have everything in green. So the momentum confirms what's happening right there, actually. And that's what I'm looking for. And right now we see the mixed signs. The best thing to do is actually wait for a more clear picture. Okay. The AXY, the AXY same thing. There is a huge gap between the two. And here is a low volume. Everything turned into red. Almost. The remote needs a bit of time. And here, two indicators are red, one is green, but until we don't have a green candle, this should go to the downside as well. Okay, you see this sometimes when there is almost no liquidity in the market, like this period of the time, that you see something like this, and it's only confirming when we haven't close of candle, which confirms the green or the red color, right? So the AXY played out very well. The Japanese yen, here is the divergence I was talking about. Everything was below the zero line. So that's mostly the sign what we are looking for. But here as well, what we're seeing is actually the REMA gets far away from the slow moving average, which is always, like I said, the question what price is doing right now, because the momentum is not confirming, and those are mostly just corrective movements. All right. On daily basis, I already draw what I'm expecting. There is a continuation possibility from this point to this point. You see the difference between the two on the indicators, so that's what I'm looking for. All right. The BXY, I draw here a position actually because we have a broken structure and this turned into red. We have a divergence formed. Actually, the divergence is confirmed, but this is the risky part of the game because as you see, here is the momentum not confirmed. Okay, so everything is in green here and above the zero line and here as well. But if you take the information from point A and you switch it to point B, what I'm seeing right now, there is a structural divergence. So the price is moving up, but this is moving to the downside and everything turned into red. So there is a possibility for a zero line cross. And that's the point when I say it's worth to risk it because the possibility of this divergence is there. The confirmation is not there yet of the VV plus and the REMA, but this is the risk of the game. Even when we have a chaotic picture like this, we can take the risk. And if this point breaks, yeah, the momentum is about to change, but it doesn't mean you can't take the risk because you see the confirmations on the chart and you can go with the size based on a smaller time frame if it confirms the momentum, right? I'm looking for this. Then the SXY, there was a divergence from upside and now from the downside, but there is a huge gap between the two. And this is let's say, the only chart which is moving differently from the rest, actually. Here is divergence. This is, looks like it's about to bounce to the upside, and there is a high volume, which, as you see on the AXY, it was different on every other currency. It was different, but here is also a bit of mess because it's turned into red. This is also a sell signal, and what we see is a huge difference between the two, and we broke under the zero line, but there is a possibility for a structural divergence and a divergence. So this is a bit messy, right? Right now, still we are above the zero line, so on the dominating chart, which means the bulls are still in control. but I see the contrasides, I see the DXY, what's forming on the DXY, and the rest of the chart. So I would say wait on the SXY, wait on the Swiss franc, and if it confirms, like at this point confirms as well, it's turning into red, I think there will be a good short opportunity. Actually, this could move a bit to the upside, in my opinion, but it can turn in a convergence to the downside. Then the AXY and the AXY, same thing, actually didn't move, and the destroyer is going to the upside, but there is no volume. The chart didn't move. So what I'm expecting is actually a continuation to the downside. Okay. Here's a low volume sell, and this is moving closely. So that's what I'm looking for. And same thing on the ZXY. All right. Already draw it right there. And on the gold, we broke the zero line. We got the sell signal. Everything is pointing into the red. And here, two signs, red, and this is about to cross. So actually, we are on the edge to see a big move to the downside if this confirms as well. Based on the daily, only on the daily, I would say this should go to the downside. Actually, that's what I'm waiting for. And this confirms also the theory on the DXY as well. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see. The news, we're gonna get an easy Monday with one high volatile news on the euro. Doesn't see something big happen right there, but there could be a bit of liquidity. Then Tuesday GDP, which is more interesting, and jobs here also GDP, jobs at 16, which is also an interesting news to trade on it. Then Wednesday CPI with a lot of Australian dollar news, and after that we're gonna continue with unemployment change and a lot of high volatile news. This could have an effect on the market, and after that in the evening we're gonna have the interest rate decision of the dollar, and I don't think there's gonna be a change, which means practically that it should make a move to the downside. If they doesn't change, should have a negative effect on the price mostly, but I would say, like I always said, see on the 50 minutes, and if there isn't confirmation of the momentum, just go with it, because I don't know if you know, but the news affected only the market in 30%. So if the momentum is right, it just goes into your favor. All right. Then Thursday, unemployment rate, CPY, some HCOB, and jobless claims, which is more interesting, and also an interest rate from the GDP at 13, which is also an interesting thing to trade on. So Wednesday, Thursday, interest rates, and Friday, we're gonna have the NFP, which is a big news to trade on. All right. Thanks for your attention, guys. See you next week. Let's get it. Have a great week. Bye bye.